Once upon a time, deep in the forest, there lived a gentle bear named Bramble. Every night, when the sun sank low behind the tall trees, Bramble would wander along the forest path. The moon, bright and full, would shine down through the branches, casting a soft silver glow across the world below. The gentle bear always felt peaceful when the moonlight touched his fur. On this particular night, the forest seemed even quieter than usual. The wind was calm, and the only sound that could be heard was the soft rustle of the leaves as they swayed gently in the night breeze. Bramble had been walking along the moonlit path for hours, but he didn't feel tired. Instead, he felt calm and content, the moonlight washing away all his worries. As Bramble continued on his walk, he saw something unusual ahead of him. The path seemed to glow even brighter in the distance, as if the moon had become even stronger. Curious, Bramble took slow steps forward, his large paws making soft thuds on the earth. With every step, he felt a sense of peace that filled his heart, and he smiled to himself. Soon, Bramble reached the place where the path seemed to glow the most. It was a small clearing surrounded by tall trees, and in the center was a beautiful stone that shone with the moonlight. The stone had a soft glowing light, like the moon itself had decided to rest there for a while. Bramble approached the stone with caution, not wanting to disturb its peaceful glow. He sat beside it, looking up at the full moon in the sky. It was as if the moon was watching over him, guiding him on his path through the forest. The gentle bear felt a wave of calm wash over him as he closed his eyes for a moment. The moonlit path seemed to connect him to something greater than himself, something peaceful and serene. He had always loved the forest, but tonight, under the bright moon, it felt even more magical. For what seemed like hours, Bramble stayed in the clearing, listening to the soft sounds of the forest and feeling the warmth of the moonlight on his fur. Every now and then, he would hear the soft hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves as a gentle breeze passed through the trees. Eventually, Bramble stood up and stretched, his body feeling relaxed and peaceful. He wasn't in a hurry, so he decided to stay on the path and continue his walk. The moonlight made everything around him seem so calm, and the world felt perfectly still. As he wandered deeper into the forest, he thought about how lucky he was to be able to walk along the moonlit path. It was a gift, a peaceful gift that helped him feel connected to the earth, the trees, and the stars above. Bramble knew that, no matter what happened in the day, the moon would always be there to guide him through the night. And so, as the night grew late and the stars twinkled brightly above, Bramble walked along the moonlit path, his heart light and full of peace. The moon continued to shine down, casting its soft glow on everything around him, and the gentle bear knew that he would always find his way back to the path, no matter where life took him. In that moment, Bramble felt completely at peace, surrounded by the beauty of the night and the quiet calm of the forest. He closed his eyes one more time, taking a deep breath of the cool, crisp air, and drifted off into a peaceful, restful sleep, knowing that the moon would always be there to guide him. Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful forest, there lived a little fox named Felix. Every evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, Felix would find a cozy spot beneath the trees to curl up and rest. The sky above would gradually change from soft orange to deep blue, and the stars would twinkle like tiny diamonds. It was the perfect setting for a peaceful sleep, and Felix loved it. One calm evening, as the stars began to appear one by one, Felix decided to take a little walk before settling down. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the scent of pine and earth. Felix's tiny paws patted softly across the forest floor as he made his way to his favorite spot by the old oak tree. The night was still, the only sound the gentle rustling of the leaves in the cool breeze. Felix looked up at the sky, his eyes wide with wonder. The stars sparkled so brightly, it was as if they were trying to tell him a secret. He sat down on the soft grass and stared up, feeling calm and peaceful. The night sky was like a giant blanket, wrapped around the world, keeping everything safe and quiet. As Felix sat there, a gentle owl flew down from a nearby branch and perched beside him. The owl's feathers shimmered under the moonlight, and its eyes glowed softly in the dark. The owl gave Felix a kind smile. "Hello, little fox," the owl said in a soft voice. "Are you enjoying the stars tonight?" Felix nodded, his eyes still fixed on the sky. "I love watching the stars," he said. "They make me feel calm and happy." The owl flapped its wings gently, and then looked up at the twinkling stars. "The stars are very special," the owl said. "They have been watching over us for as long as anyone can remember. They are the keepers of our dreams." Felix's ears perked up. "The keepers of dreams?" he asked. "What do you mean?" The owl nodded wisely. "Yes, little fox. When you close your eyes at night, the stars help guide your dreams. They fill your sleep with warmth and peaceful thoughts, and they protect you while you rest." Felix felt a sense of wonder fill his heart. He never realized that the stars had such an important job. He smiled to himself, feeling comforted by the idea that the stars were looking after him. "Thank you for telling me that," Felix said, his voice soft and sleepy. "I feel even more peaceful now." The owl smiled kindly. "You are very welcome, Felix. Now it's time for you to rest. The stars will take care of your dreams tonight, and you'll wake up feeling refreshed in the morning." Felix yawned, feeling the soft pull of sleep take over him. He stretched his little body and curled up on the soft grass beneath the oak tree. The gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, and the twinkling stars above seemed to blink in time with his slow breaths. As he closed his eyes, Felix felt safe and content. He imagined the stars dancing in the sky, their light weaving through his dreams, filling them with warmth and happiness. He could almost hear the stars singing a lullaby, their gentle voices soothing him into a deep, peaceful sleep. The night passed quietly, with only the sound of the breeze and the soft rustling of the leaves. Felix's dreams were filled with beautiful, peaceful scenes. Forests bathed in moonlight, soft clouds floating through the sky, and streams glistening under the stars. When morning came, the sun slowly peeked over the horizon, casting a warm golden light across the forest. Felix awoke feeling rested and happy, the memories of his peaceful dreams still fresh in his mind. Felix stretched and yawned, then stood up and looked around. The stars were no longer visible, but Felix knew they were still there, watching over him. He smiled, knowing that every night, when he closed his eyes, the twinkling sky would fill his dreams with peace and magic. And so, with a heart full of warmth, Felix skipped off into the forest, ready for another adventure, knowing that the stars would always be there to keep him safe as he slept beneath their twinkling light. In a forest far away, where the trees stretched high into the sky, and the breeze was always soft, there lived a bear named Benny. Benny was a gentle soul who loved the quiet peace of the woods. Every evening, when the sun began to set, he would wander through the forest, listening to the rustling leaves and the chirping of the crickets. It was his time to relax before settling down for a good night's sleep. One evening, as the sky turned a dusky purple and the first stars appeared, Benny wandered deeper into the forest than usual. The trees whispered to each other, their leaves shaking gently in the wind. The soft murmurs of the forest always calmed Benny's mind, and tonight was no different. The leaves whispered secrets of the day, telling Benny stories of the birds, the foxes, and the squirrels who had passed by. Benny smiled and paused to listen more carefully. As the wind blew through the trees, it sounded like a lullaby, the soft rhythm of the leaves swaying and the branches creaking ever so slightly. He closed his eyes and let the peaceful sounds wash over him. But tonight, the trees seemed to be singing a special song, one Benny had never heard before. The song was soothing and sweet, like a lullaby sung just for him. Benny opened his eyes and looked around. The trees, tall and majestic, seemed to be swaying in a pattern, almost as if they were moving to the rhythm of the song. The soft wind danced around him, carrying the sweet melody. Benny took a deep breath and began to follow the path the trees were guiding him down. He felt drawn to the heart of the forest, where the oldest and tallest trees stood. These trees had witnessed countless sunrises and sunsets, and their trunks were thick with age. They were the wise ones, the guardians of the forest. And tonight, they had a lullaby just for him. As Benny walked, the air grew cooler, and the trees grew thicker. Soon, he reached a small clearing in the forest, where a large ancient tree stood. Its trunk was wide, and its branches reached high into the sky. The tree's leaves shimmered softly in the moonlight, and Benny could hear the lullaby more clearly now. Benny sat down beneath the tree and closed his eyes again, letting the song fill his heart. The song was like a gentle hug, warm and comforting, wrapping around him like a soft blanket. It spoke of the quiet night, of peaceful dreams, and of the love the forest had for him. The trees, with their whispering leaves, were singing a lullaby of rest and safety. The melody was so soft and sweet that Benny felt himself growing sleepier with every note. He yawned, stretched out on the soft grass, and curled up beneath the great tree. The lullaby continued, each note lulling him deeper into a state of peace. The forest, the trees, and the wind all seemed to be working together to help him drift into a dream-filled slumber. As Benny closed his eyes, he felt his worries melt away. The forest had wrapped him in its peaceful embrace, and the song of the trees would keep him safe through the night. The lullaby was like a promise, a reminder that no matter what happened, he was always welcome in the forest, always safe beneath the whispering trees. And so, with the song of the trees singing softly in his ears, Benny fell into a deep, peaceful sleep, dreaming of the forest's beauty and the love of the trees. The lullaby continued to play through the night, a soothing melody that guided Benny through his dreams. The next morning, when the sun began to rise and the birds started to sing, Benny awoke feeling refreshed and peaceful. The forest was calm, and the trees stood tall and proud around him. Benny stretched and smiled, knowing that he would always have the lullaby of the whispering trees to guide him into peaceful sleep. And from that day on, whenever the evening came and the stars appeared, Benny would walk to his favorite spot beneath the ancient tree. The trees would whisper their lullaby, and Benny would fall asleep, feeling loved and safe in the heart of the forest. Once upon a time, deep in the heart of a magical forest, there lived a little bear named Timmy. Timmy was a soft, cuddly bear who loved to play during the day, exploring the wildflowers and chasing butterflies. But as the sun began to set, Timmy's favorite time of the day arrived: nighttime. Every evening, as the stars twinkled above and the moon rose high in the sky, the forest became a peaceful, quiet place. Timmy would curl up on his soft bed of moss, ready to fall into a dreamy slumber. But before he could drift off to sleep, there was something he loved to do. He would listen to the magical sounds of the forest. The trees whispered softly in the breeze, their leaves rustling like a gentle lullaby. The chirping of crickets and the distant hoot of an owl created a soothing melody that wrapped around Timmy like a warm blanket. It was the perfect setting for sweet dreams. One particular evening, as Timmy lay on his bed of moss, he noticed something special. The stars above seemed brighter than usual, and the moon cast a soft, silvery glow over the forest. It felt like the whole forest was glowing with peace, as if the very air was filled with dreams. Timmy closed his eyes and let out a big yawn, sinking into the soft moss. The sounds of the forest became even softer, and the breeze gently rocked him back and forth. He felt as though the forest itself was cradling him, guiding him into the land of dreams. As he drifted off, Timmy imagined himself flying through the forest, soaring above the treetops. The wind rushed past him as he glided through the air, his little paws stretched out like wings. He could hear the laughter of the other animals below, but he was floating high above them, feeling free and light. The stars twinkled in the sky like little diamonds, and the moon seemed to smile down at Timmy as he flew through the night. It was a dreamlike adventure, and Timmy felt as though he could stay in this magical world forever. But soon his dream began to shift. Timmy found himself walking along a quiet, winding path through the forest. The trees on either side were tall and wise, their branches stretching high above him, creating a canopy of leaves that glowed softly in the moonlight. The forest was bathed in a peaceful silence, with only the sound of Timmy's soft footsteps on the ground. As he walked, he came across a small, sparkling stream. The water glowed in the moonlight, and the sound of it gently flowing over the rocks was like a soft lullaby. Timmy knelt by the stream and dipped his paws into the cool, clear water. It was so refreshing, and the ripples in the stream seemed to sing a song of tranquility. Timmy sat by the stream for a while, listening to the music of the water and the whispers of the trees. He felt completely at peace, as though he was one with the forest. His little heart was full of joy, and his mind was calm and relaxed. Eventually, Timmy felt his eyelids grow heavy, and he knew it was time to sleep. He made his way back to his cozy bed of moss under the soft, starry sky. The trees whispered their lullaby once more, and the breeze carried the sweet scent of flowers and pine needles. Timmy snuggled up, feeling safe and loved in the peaceful forest. The magical sounds of the night continued to play around him as he closed his eyes and drifted into a deep, restful sleep. In his dreams, he flew through the sky, played with his friends, and explored new parts of the forest. Every dream was more wonderful than the last. And so, night after night, Timmy the little bear would rest in his cozy bed, surrounded by the calming whispers of the forest and the soft glow of the stars. He knew that the forest would always be there to guide him into peaceful dreams, and each new night would bring another adventure in the land of sleep. As the moon shone brightly over the peaceful forest, Timmy slept soundly, knowing that tomorrow would bring a new day of play, love, and dreams. The forest was his safe haven, and every night was a chance to rest and dream beneath the twinkling sky. Once upon a time, in a quiet forest far away, there was a gentle bear named Benny. Benny lived in a cozy little den nestled between two tall trees, surrounded by soft moss and colorful wildflowers. Every day, Benny spent his time exploring the forest, meeting new friends, and enjoying the warmth of the sun. But as the evening drew near, Benny's favorite part of the day began, the night. Benny loved the night for many reasons, but most of all, he adored the peaceful beauty of Star Valley. Star Valley was a magical place hidden deep within the forest. It was a secret spot where the stars shone brighter than anywhere else, and the moonlight bathed the land in a soft silver glow. Benny would often wander there when the day was over, and the sky was filled with twinkling stars. One evening, after a day filled with playful adventures, Benny decided it was time to visit Star Valley. He stepped out of his den, his paws soft on the earth, and began his journey through the peaceful forest. The cool breeze brushed against his fur, and the scent of pine and earth filled the air. Benny loved how the forest felt at night, calm, quiet, and full of dreams. As he walked along the forest path, the moon began to rise, casting a soft light through the trees. Benny followed the path deeper into the forest, listening to the soft sounds of crickets and owls in the distance. The leaves rustled gently in the wind, and the trees seemed to whisper their secrets to one another. Benny felt calm and content, knowing he was headed to his favorite place in the world. After a while, Benny reached the edge of Star Valley. As he stepped into the valley, he was greeted by the sight of thousands of stars twinkling above him, like little diamonds scattered across the sky. The valley was bathed in moonlight, and the grass beneath his paws seemed to glow with a soft, magical light. Benny sat down on a patch of grass, taking in the beauty of the night around him. The stars were so bright that it felt as though Benny could reach up and touch them. He gazed up at the sky, feeling a sense of wonder and peace. The soft breeze rustled the leaves of the nearby trees, and the sound of the wind was like a gentle lullaby. Benny felt as though the whole world was at rest, and he was a part of it. Benny closed his eyes for a moment, letting the peace of Star Valley fill him. The quiet sounds of the night wrapped around him like a warm blanket, and he felt as though all his worries had melted away. In Star Valley, there was no rush, no noise, only calm stillness and the beauty of the stars above. As Benny sat there, he felt a soft, comforting feeling come over him. The stars seemed to shine even brighter, and the moonlight felt warmer on his fur. Benny felt safe and loved, as though the entire valley was taking care of him. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the fresh, cool air, and let it out slowly. His body relaxed, and his mind began to quiet. After a while, Benny knew it was time to head back home. The stars above began to fade, and the moon dipped lower in the sky. Benny stood up, stretched his paws, and turned back toward the forest path. He made his way back through the trees, feeling the soft earth beneath his paws, and hearing the gentle sounds of the night. The forest was still and peaceful, and Benny felt content knowing that he had visited his favorite place once again. When Benny finally arrived back at his den, he curled up on his soft bed of moss, feeling peaceful and calm. The sounds of the forest outside lulled him to sleep, and as he drifted off, he dreamed of the beautiful stars and the moonlit valley. He dreamed of the gentle breeze, the rustling trees, and the quiet beauty of the world around him. And so, every night, Benny would visit Star Valley, the place where he felt most at peace. The stars would guide him through the night, and the valley would cradle him in its calm embrace. And as Benny slept, He knew that tomorrow would bring another adventure in the peaceful forest, under the twinkling stars of Star Valley. In the heart of a peaceful forest, under the glow of the silver moon, lived a gentle bear named Bruno. Bruno was a kind and thoughtful bear who loved the quiet nights. As the sun set behind the tall trees and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Bruno would prepare himself for his favorite time of the day, moonlight walks. Every evening, when the forest grew quiet and the wind whispered through the leaves, Bruno would wander through the woods, following the soft light of the moon. The path was familiar to him, and each night, the forest felt like a safe and comforting place. The moonlight cast a soft glow on the ground, and Bruno's steps were light and careful, as if he didn't want to disturb the peaceful silence. One evening, after a long day of exploring the forest, Bruno decided to take his usual walk under the moonlight. As he left his cozy den, the cool breeze rustled the leaves above him, and he could smell the sweet scent of wildflowers in the air. The forest was calm, and Bruno felt a sense of peace wash over him as he started his journey. The moon was high in the sky, and its light shimmered through the trees, creating patterns on the forest floor. Bruno walked slowly, his large paws making soft sounds on the ground. He admired the beauty of the forest at night, how the shadows danced and how everything seemed to glow with a quiet magic. The stars above twinkled like tiny diamonds, and Bruno couldn't help but smile as he gazed at them. As Bruno walked, he thought about all the creatures that lived in the forest. He thought of the wise old owl who lived in the tall oak tree, the playful rabbits who hopped through the meadows, and the gentle deer who roamed the forest. Bruno loved the forest and all its inhabitants, but tonight, it was just him and the soft glow of the moon. The night air was cool, and Bruno felt the breeze on his fur as he continued along the path. He walked without hurry, taking in the beauty around him. The trees whispered in the wind, and the sound of distant crickets created a soothing melody. It was as if the forest was singing him a lullaby. As Bruno reached a small clearing, he stopped and sat down on the soft grass. The moonlight surrounded him, and he felt the warmth of its glow on his fur. Bruno closed his eyes for a moment, allowing himself to relax and listen to the sounds of the forest. The gentle rustling of the leaves and the chirping of the crickets made him feel as if the world was at peace. In that quiet moment, Bruno felt a sense of calm wash over him. The forest seemed to be holding him in its gentle embrace, and he felt safe and content. His breathing slowed, and his body relaxed as he sat under the moonlight. The night was beautiful, and Bruno felt so grateful to be a part of it. After some time, Bruno stood up and continued on his walk. As he moved through the forest, he noticed how the moonlight seemed to change the world around him. The trees appeared taller, the shadows deeper, and the night seemed to hold more secrets. Bruno felt as though the forest was alive with magic, and he couldn't help but feel a deep connection to it. Eventually, Bruno made his way back to his den. The moon was still shining brightly, and the stars were twinkling overhead. Bruno curled up in his cozy den, the soft moss beneath him providing comfort. The gentle sounds of the forest filled the air as he drifted off to sleep. As he lay there, Bruno dreamed of the peaceful forest, the soft steps of his walk under the moonlight, and the quiet beauty of the night. The forest whispered its secrets to him, and Bruno knew that he would always have the moonlight to guide him through the peaceful nights. And so each night, Bruno continued his moonlight walks, his soft steps guiding him through the quiet beauty of the forest. The moonlight would always be there to light his way, and Bruno would continue to dream of the peaceful forest that he called home. Once upon a time, deep in a quiet forest, there was a little bear named Benny who loved nothing more than finding a peaceful spot to rest. Benny had a special place that he adored. His cozy cave nestled in the heart of the woods. It was a perfect little hideaway, where soft moss covered the floor, and the walls were warm and inviting. As the day slowly came to an end, and the sun began to dip below the horizon, Benny knew it was time to head home. He padded through the forest, the crunch of leaves beneath his paws the only sound in the still air. The birds had stopped singing, and the gentle breeze whispered through the trees, making the branches sway. When Benny reached his cozy cave, he smiled. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could curl up, close his eyes, and let the world outside fade away. The entrance of the cave was framed by ivy and tiny, Twinkling fireflies often danced around it at night, casting a soft glow that made the cave feel like it was wrapped in a warm blanket. Benny stepped inside, his paws sinking into the soft moss. It was a peaceful feeling, as though the cave welcomed him, offering comfort and rest after a long day of exploring the forest. He made his way to his favorite spot, a small nook just in the back of the cave where the moss was extra thick, and the air smelled fresh and earthy. Benny settled down, sighing contentedly. He felt safe and warm here, like the cave was holding him in a gentle embrace. As he lay there, the cool breeze from outside carried the soft scent of pine and wildflowers into the cave. The air was fresh, and Benny closed his eyes, letting the peaceful sounds of the forest lull him into a sense of calm. The distant hoot of an owl echoed softly in the night, and the rustling of leaves outside was like a lullaby. Tonight, Benny was especially tired. He had spent the day running through the forest, chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and exploring new trails. His little bare body ached from all the adventure. But now, in the comfort of his cozy cave, all he wanted to do was rest. As he snuggled deeper into the moss, Benny felt the soft breeze from outside gently caress his fur. The warmth of the cave surrounded him, and he felt like he was being wrapped in a soft blanket of peace. His breathing slowed, and his eyelids grew heavy. The quiet of the night, combined with the soothing sounds of the forest, made Benny feel as though he was drifting into a magical world. In his cozy cave, Benny began to dream. He dreamt of running through the forest, his paws light on the soft earth. He imagined the stars above him twinkling like tiny diamonds, and the moon casting its gentle light on the trees. In his dream, the forest was even more beautiful, with soft beams of moonlight shining down through the leaves and dancing across the ground. Benny's dream was filled with laughter and joy. He imagined meeting all his forest friends, rabbits, squirrels, and wise old owls. They played together in the moonlight, their footsteps soft on the forest floor, their hearts full of happiness. The dreams were peaceful and sweet, just like the cozy cave that Benny called home. As the night went on, Benny's dreams grew even more peaceful. The quiet of the cave, combined with the soft sounds of the forest outside, created the perfect atmosphere for restful sleep. Benny's little heart beat gently, and his breathing slowed as he sank deeper into his peaceful slumber. The cave, with its soft moss and warm walls, provided Benny with the most peaceful dreams. It was a place where he could rest his tired body and let his imagination run wild. Every night, Benny would return to the cozy cave, ready for another night of peaceful sleep, where dreams of adventure and joy awaited him. And so, every evening, as the stars twinkled in the sky and the forest settled into a peaceful silence, Benny would curl up in his cozy cave, knowing that his dreams would always be full of comfort, happiness, and the warmth of the home he had found in the heart of the forest. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest surrounded by tall, gentle trees, there lived a little bear named Leo. Leo was a curious and adventurous bear, but there was one thing he loved more than anything else: sleeping under the stars. Every night, as the moon began to rise high above the treetops, Leo would look up at the twinkling sky and feel a sense of calm wash over him. Leo had a cozy little den at the edge of the forest. It was warm and safe, with soft leaves and moss covering the ground. But despite the comfort of his den, Leo often found himself gazing out at the night sky, longing to sleep under the stars. There was something magical about the way the stars sparkled, as if they were telling him stories of faraway places. One evening, as the stars began to appear in the sky, Leo decided that he would sleep outside that night. He wanted to feel the cool breeze on his fur and listen to the soft rustling of the leaves as he drifted off to sleep. So, with a little excitement in his heart, Leo padded away from his den and found a quiet spot in the meadow. The meadow was bathed in the soft light of the moon, and the stars above twinkled like tiny diamonds. Leo lay down on the soft grass, feeling the cool earth beneath him. He looked up at the sky and felt as though he was part of something much larger than himself, something beautiful and peaceful. The stars seemed to dance above him, their light so gentle and calming. As Leo gazed at the sky, he thought about how the stars had always been there, watching over him, guiding him through the dark nights. He remembered his mother telling him that the stars were the dreams of all the creatures in the world. Each star, she had said, was a little wish from someone who had hoped for something good. Leo liked the idea of the stars being full of wishes. It made him feel even more connected to the world. As the night grew quieter, Leo began to feel his eyes grow heavy. The soft sounds of the night, the chirping of crickets, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, began to lull him into a peaceful state. His body relaxed, and he curled up on the soft grass, feeling safe and warm under the starry sky. Leo's dreams that night were filled with wonder. He dreamed of flying high up into the sky, past the clouds and joining the stars. He soared among them, dancing and twirling, feeling free and light. The stars whispered to him, sharing their stories of faraway lands and mysterious places. Leo felt as though he was part of something magical, and for the first time, he understood the true meaning of the stars. As the night passed, Leo slept soundly, the stars watching over him like old friends. The gentle moonlight kept him warm, and the breeze carried the sweet scent of flowers through the air. It was the most peaceful sleep Leo had ever had, and when he woke up in the morning, he felt refreshed and full of happiness. From that night on, Leo made it a habit to sleep under the stars whenever he could. He would lie in the meadow, his eyes turned upward, feeling a deep connection to the world around him. Each time he looked up at the stars, he remembered his dream of flying with them, and he knew that he was never truly alone. The stars, with their soft glow, continued to guide Leo through each night, and he grew to love the peacefulness they brought. He learned that sometimes, the best sleep comes not from being tucked in bed, but from being surrounded by the beauty and wonder of the world. And so Leo the little bear spent many nights sleeping with the stars, always feeling their gentle presence, always dreaming of new adventures in the sky. As the days turned into seasons, Leo never forgot the magic of sleeping under the stars, and it became one of his most treasured memories. In a cozy forest where the trees whispered secrets to each other, there lived a soft, furry bear named Benny. Benny was a gentle bear, loved by everyone in the forest. He had a heart full of kindness and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. But Benny had one little problem. He had trouble falling asleep. Every night, while the other animals curled up in their beds and drifted into peaceful dreams, Benny would toss and turn, unable to find the rest he so desperately needed. One evening, as Benny sat beneath the great oak tree, watching the sky change colors from gold to deep purple, he began to feel very sleepy. The stars started twinkling, and the moon rose slowly into the sky, casting a soft glow across the forest. Benny yawned, his eyes heavy with sleep, but he still couldn't shake off the feeling of restlessness that had been following him for days. As Benny lay down on the soft grass, looking up at the stars, a gentle breeze blew past, carrying with it a faint, comforting sound. It was the sound of the clouds, soft and whispering, moving across the sky. Benny closed his eyes and listened carefully. The clouds seemed to be calling to him, as if they had a story to share, or perhaps a secret to tell. To his surprise, the clouds began to gather together, forming a fluffy, soft pathway right in front of him. Benny's eyes widened in wonder as the clouds took shape, swirling around him. They seemed so friendly, so inviting. It was as if they were offering him a ride to somewhere peaceful, a place where all the restless thoughts and worries could float away. Without thinking twice, Benny stood up, his paws sinking softly into the clouds. To his amazement, the clouds were warm and soft, like a fluffy pillow. They rose slowly, lifting Benny up into the sky. As he floated higher, the forest below him looked smaller and smaller, the trees turning into little dots beneath him. The clouds carried Benny higher and higher, into the vast, calm sky. The stars twinkled around him, and the moon shone brighter than ever, lighting the way. Benny felt his worries drift away with each soft puff of cloud that carried him. The clouds were soft and soothing, and Benny felt the most peaceful he had ever felt. As he floated along, Benny noticed that the clouds seemed to change colors, shifting from pure white to soft shades of blue, pink, and lavender. The gentle breeze that came with them was cool and refreshing, and it made Benny feel even more relaxed. He closed his eyes, letting the soft cloud ride lull him deeper into relaxation. The clouds carried him on a peaceful journey through the night sky, passing by constellations that twinkled like diamonds, and drifting by a sleepy moon that smiled down at him. The further Benny traveled, the sleepier he became. He felt as though the clouds were singing a lullaby just for him. With every soft puff of air, and every gentle movement in the sky, Benny felt his body grow heavy, his mind calm and quiet. As he floated on, he drifted into a peaceful deep sleep, cradled by the soft fluffy clouds. His dreams were full of wonders. He dreamt of running through fields of soft flowers, playing with his forest friends, and sailing through the sky on a cloud boat. It was the most peaceful sleep Benny had ever had. As the night went on, the clouds gently lowered Benny back to the forest floor, where his little den awaited him. He woke up just as the first light of dawn touched the treetops. Benny stretched and yawned, feeling completely refreshed and at peace. He smiled, knowing that the clouds had shown him the way to the most restful sleep he had ever experienced. From that night on, Benny no longer had trouble falling asleep. Whenever he felt restless, he would look up at the sky, and sometimes, if he was lucky, the clouds would return, offering him another peaceful ride to dreamland. And with each night that passed, Benny learned the most important lesson of all: that sometimes, the best way to find peace is to let yourself be carried away by the soft, gentle embrace of the world around you. Once upon a time, in a quiet forest far away, there lived a little bear named Oliver. Oliver was a curious bear who loved to explore the wonders of the world around him. His soft brown fur shone under the sun, and his gentle eyes sparkled with joy and wonder. But there was one thing that Oliver loved more than anything else in the world: peaceful walks under the night sky. Every evening, when the stars began to twinkle above and the moon rose high, Oliver would step out of his cozy den for a peaceful stroll. The forest around him would begin to change as night settled in. The trees would whisper softly in the breeze, and the flowers would close their petals to sleep. The forest, though quiet, seemed to come alive in its own magical way. On this particular night, as Oliver stepped outside, he noticed something special. The air felt different, like the very night itself was alive with magic. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a gentle light over the forest. The stars twinkled brightly, as though they were little eyes watching over the world below. Oliver could feel the cool night air brushing against his fur, and he felt a deep sense of peace settle over him. With each step, the forest seemed to welcome him, the leaves crunching softly beneath his paws. The path he walked on was familiar, but tonight, it felt like he was walking through a world he had never seen before. The trees, tall and wise, seemed to reach up to the sky, as if they were stretching to touch the stars. Their leaves shimmered in the moonlight, and the flowers along the path seemed to glow with a soft, gentle light. Oliver walked slowly, taking in the beauty of the night. He could hear the faint rustling of the leaves in the trees, and the distant call of an owl. The forest was alive, but in the most peaceful way. It was as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for something magical to happen. As Oliver walked further into the forest, he came across a small, peaceful clearing. The moonlight poured down into the clearing, creating a soft, silvery glow. The grass beneath his paws felt soft, like a gentle pillow, and the air smelled sweet, like fresh flowers and the earth after rain. Oliver sat down in the middle of the clearing, gazing up at the stars. The quiet beauty of the night filled him with a sense of calm that he had never felt before. The wind began to pick up, but it was gentle like a soft whisper. It carried with it the scent of pine and earth, and it made the trees sway gently as though they were dancing. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment, letting the peacefulness of the night surround him. He felt as though the whole world had paused, just for him, to enjoy the quiet magic of the night. As he sat in the clearing, a soft rustling sound caught his attention. He opened his eyes and saw that the flowers around him were swaying in time with the wind, their petals glowing softly in the moonlight. It was as though the flowers were dancing with the stars. The entire forest seemed to be alive with magic, and Oliver felt lucky to be a part of it. After a while, Oliver stood up and continued his stroll. The path wound through the forest, leading him past babbling brooks and under the tall, ancient trees. The night was so quiet, so peaceful, that it felt as though time itself had slowed down. Oliver walked with a sense of calm he had never known before, feeling completely at ease in the magic of the night. As he walked, he realized that the magic of the night was not something you could touch or hold. It was a feeling that filled the air, the trees, and even the very ground beneath his paws. It was a feeling of peace, of stillness, of being completely in the moment, surrounded by the beauty of the world. When Oliver finally returned to his den, the night had deepened, and the stars were shining even brighter. He curled up in his soft bed of leaves, his heart full of peace. As he drifted off to sleep, he knew that he had experienced something truly magical. The night had shared its secret with him, a secret of quiet beauty, peacefulness, and the magic that lives in the stillness of the world. And as he closed his eyes, Oliver fell into the most peaceful sleep, knowing that every night, the magic of the world would always be there, waiting for him to take another stroll under the stars. In the heart of a quiet forest, there lived a little bear named Theo. The forest was peaceful, filled with tall trees, rustling leaves, and soft green moss. Each night, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest would fall into a deep, gentle sleep. The air grew cooler, and a velvet sky, painted with stars, would cover the world like a soft blanket. Theo, like all the animals in the forest, loved this time of night. He would often wander around, his little paws patting softly on the earth. He admired how the forest transformed when the stars appeared. It was as though the trees, the flowers, and the animals were all in sync with the peaceful rhythm of the world. There was a magic in the air, a quiet kind of magic that made the whole forest feel like a dream. One evening, after a long day of playing with his friends, Theo decided to go for a stroll beneath the velvet sky. The moon was full, its light casting a silver glow across the forest. Theo felt a sense of calm wash over him as he wandered along the familiar path. The leaves on the trees swayed gently, whispering secrets to the wind, while the soft chirping of crickets played a quiet lullaby. Theo walked slowly, feeling the cool breeze on his fur. He could see the stars above, twinkling like tiny diamonds in the sky. It was a sight that always made him feel small, but in a good way. The vastness of the sky reminded him that there was so much beauty in the world, and it was all waiting for him to discover. The trees seemed to stretch up to touch the sky, their branches reaching out like welcoming arms. As Theo wandered deeper into the forest, he noticed something special. A small patch of flowers, glowing faintly under the moonlight, appeared before him. The flowers seemed to shimmer, as though they were made of tiny stars themselves. The soft scent of the flowers filled the air, calming Theo even more. He crouched down to take a closer look, his nose twitching as he inhaled the sweet fragrance. The forest around him was so quiet now, the only sounds being the gentle rustling of the leaves and the occasional soft hoot of an owl. Theo sat down among the flowers, feeling the soft earth beneath him. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, and for a moment, it felt as though the whole forest had paused to watch him. The sky, so vast and full of wonder, felt close now, like it was sharing its peaceful beauty with him. Theo closed his eyes for a moment, taking in the calm of the night. The cool breeze brushed against his fur, and he could hear the faint sound of the night creatures settling in for sleep. He felt at home in the quiet, under the velvet sky. It was a place of peace, a place where all his worries could float away like the clouds above. After a while, Theo stood up and began walking again. The forest path was familiar, but tonight it felt different, like he was walking through a dream. The world around him seemed to be glowing with a soft light, and the trees seemed to nod gently in the breeze. The velvet sky above was a perfect canvas of stars, and Theo felt like he was part of something much bigger than himself. As Theo walked, he came across a small stream. The water sparkled under the moonlight, its gentle flow creating a soothing sound. Theo crouched down beside the stream, dipping his paw into the cool water. He smiled, feeling the calm of the moment settle deep within him. The world around him was so peaceful, so full of beauty, that he couldn't help but feel thankful. Theo knew it was time to return to his cozy den. The stars were beginning to fade, and the night was slowly giving way to dawn. As he walked back through the forest, he felt the magic of the velvet sky wrap around him like a warm hug. He was at peace, knowing that no matter what the world held, there would always be a place like this, quiet, beautiful, and full of wonder. As he returned to his den, Theo curled up in his soft bed, feeling the warmth of the earth beneath him. The velvet sky still filled his dreams, and he drifted off to sleep, knowing that the sleepy forest would always be there, waiting for him to explore its magic again. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there lived a gentle bear named Bobo. Bobo was known for his calm nature and soft heart. Every day, he would roam through the woods, greeting his friends and enjoying the sights and sounds of the forest. But as night would fall and the stars began to twinkle, Bobo would feel the pull of something special, the land of quiet. This was a magical place that no one really talked about, but Bobo had heard whispers of it in the rustling leaves. It was a place so peaceful, where the world was still, and the air was filled with nothing but calmness. It was said that those who visited the land of quiet would find the perfect peace and rest that everyone longed for. One evening, as the sun began to set and the moonlight spread across the forest, Bobo decided to follow the path that would lead him to this mystical land. He was curious and wanted to experience the deep, soothing quiet that everyone spoke of. With a soft smile, he began his journey. As he walked through the woods, the forest seemed to welcome him. The trees whispered to each other in a soft language, and the leaves danced gently in the breeze. The night animals were quiet, as though they too understood the journey Bobo was on. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a gentle glow on everything below. Bobo padded along the soft forest floor, feeling a deep sense of calm wash over him. His paws moved silently over the cool earth, and he could hear the occasional rustle of leaves and the soft croak of a distant frog. But overall, the sounds were soft and gentle, nothing too loud to disturb his peaceful walk. After a while, Bobo came to a clearing in the forest, where the moonlight shone brighter than ever. The clearing was empty, save for a single large rock in the middle. It was the perfect place to rest. Bobo sat on the rock, looking up at the stars above. They twinkled gently in the sky, like tiny diamonds scattered across the dark velvet. He closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the cool night air on his fur. It was so quiet here, so still, that he could hear the soft beating of his own heart. For the first time in a long while, Bobo felt completely at ease. He felt as though he were part of the land, connected to the forest, the stars, and everything around him. There was no rush, no noise, just pure peace. As Bobo sat there, the land of quiet seemed to wrap around him, like a soft blanket. He could feel the magic of the place seeping into his bones, calming every inch of his being. It was the kind of peace that made everything feel right in the world. It was a deep, restful quiet that spoke to his soul. Suddenly, Bobo heard a soft, distant sound, a gentle rustling of leaves. It wasn't alarming. In fact, it sounded like the wind playing with the branches of the trees. But it wasn't the usual sound of the forest. It was softer, more delicate. It was as though the land itself was inviting him to stay longer, to rest in this place of perfect tranquility. Bobo smiled and lay down on the soft grass beneath the rock. The air was cool and fresh, the stars shone brightly above, and the land of quiet enveloped him completely. He felt his body relax as he took a deep breath. Every part of him, his paws, his legs, his heart felt at peace. In this quiet land, he didn't have to worry about anything. There was no rush, no noise, just calmness. As the hours passed, the quiet around Bobo deepened. He could feel himself drifting into a peaceful sleep, the kind of sleep that only comes when the world is at its quietest. His dreams were soft and calm, full of gentle breezes and the soft glow of moonlight. The next morning when Bobo woke, the land of quiet was still with him. He felt refreshed, as though he had rested for a lifetime. The world around him was calm, and as he looked around, he realized that the land of quiet wasn't just a place. It was a feeling that would always stay with him, no matter where he went. Bobo smiled to himself and stood up, ready to return to the forest. He knew that no matter what, he could always come back to this peaceful place, where the world was still, and the air was filled with nothing but quiet. With a heart full of peace, Bobo made his way back home, knowing that the land of quiet would always be with him, in the depths of his dreams. And from that night on, whenever Bobo needed rest, he would simply close his eyes and remember the land of quiet, his peaceful place, where the world was always calm, and he could sleep soundly under the gentle glow of the moon. Once upon a time, in a quiet corner of the forest, there lived a bear named Benny. Benny was a gentle bear, loved by all the animals in the forest. He had soft brown fur and big, sleepy eyes that seemed to always be ready for a nap. But tonight, Benny was feeling especially drowsy, the kind of tiredness that pulled at his bones and made him yearn for the soft embrace of sleep. As the sun set behind the hills, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold, Benny yawned and stretched his paws. The cool evening breeze whispered through the trees, sending soft rustling sounds into the air. Benny smiled, his eyes growing heavy. The forest was so peaceful at night. The stars began to twinkle above him, and the moon cast a gentle glow on everything below. Benny knew it was time to sleep, but there was one thing he loved before drifting off to dreamland: the song of the night wind. The wind had a special way of singing as it danced through the forest, rustling the leaves and making the trees sway gently. To Benny, it sounded like a lullaby, a soft and soothing melody that calmed his mind and helped him drift off to sleep. Tonight, the wind felt especially gentle. Benny settled down on a soft patch of grass under the tall, whispering trees. He closed his eyes, his head resting on the cool earth, and listened carefully. The night wind's song was starting to fill the air, and Benny could feel it in his bones. The wind hummed a soft melodic tune, like the gentle strumming of a harp. It swirled through the branches of the trees, creating a soft, rustling rhythm. Benny could hear the leaves singing along, each one adding its own note to the symphony. The more he listened, the more relaxed he became. The wind's song was like a warm blanket, wrapping around him, comforting him as he began to drift deeper into his dreams. The night wind whispered through the branches, its song growing softer and more soothing with each passing moment. Benny felt his body grow heavier, his paws sinking into the soft grass beneath him. His eyelids fluttered, but the wind's melody kept him grounded, keeping him connected to the peacefulness of the night. In the distance, a small stream babbled softly, its sound joining the wind's song like a sweet harmony. The crickets in the grass joined in too, their gentle chirping adding a soft, rhythmic beat. Benny smiled, feeling the magic of the night all around him. The forest seemed to be singing him to sleep, every sound blending together in perfect harmony. As the night wore on, the wind's song became even softer, its notes now just a gentle whisper in Benny's ears. The stars twinkled above, their light reflecting the calmness of the world below. Benny felt as if the entire forest was lulling him into a peaceful slumber. The last thing he remembered before drifting off was the soft, melodic tune of the night wind, its gentle voice telling him that it was time to rest. In his dreams, Benny roamed through the forest, guided by the soft glow of the moon and the song of the night wind. It was a dream of peace, where nothing could disturb the quiet serenity that surrounded him. The trees whispered their secrets to him, the stars twinkled above, and the wind continued to sing its lullaby, carrying Benny to the land of dreams. The night passed quietly, and when the morning sun began to rise, Benny awoke feeling refreshed and happy. The night wind had sung him to sleep, and its gentle song had kept him safe and calm throughout the night. He stretched his paws and smiled, ready for another day of adventures in the forest. But he knew that no matter what the day brought, he could always count on the night wind to sing him a soothing lullaby whenever he needed rest. With a contented sigh, Benny closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the soft breeze on his fur. The night wind's song still echoed in his mind, a gentle reminder that, no matter where he was, there would always be a peaceful song to guide him into a restful sleep. In the heart of a lush, peaceful forest, there lived a little bear named Benny. Benny was a kind and gentle bear, known for his soft brown fur and warm heart. He loved the forest with its towering trees, gentle streams, and the soft rustling of the leaves in the wind. But there was one thing that Benny loved above all else: the fireflies. Every night, as the moon rose high in the sky, the forest came alive with tiny glowing lights. The fireflies would dance in the air, their little bodies glowing bright, casting a soft, golden light across the dark forest. Benny would sit on his favorite patch of soft grass, watching them flutter around, their gentle glow filling him with a sense of calm and wonder. One night, as the stars twinkled above and the moon shone brightly, Benny found himself feeling especially sleepy. He yawned, stretching his little paws and snuggling down into the soft grass. The cool night air wrapped around him like a blanket, and he closed his eyes, listening to the gentle sounds of the forest. But just before he could drift off to sleep, he heard a soft, magical sound, the gentle flutter of wings. Benny opened his eyes and looked up. There, just above him, a group of fireflies hovered in the air, their tiny lights flickering like stars. Benny smiled and watched in awe as they danced gracefully around him, their glow lighting up the night. It was as if they were inviting him to follow them, to join their dance beneath the moonlit sky. Curious and enchanted, Benny decided to follow the fireflies. He stood up and padded softly after them, his paws making no sound on the forest floor. The fireflies flitted just ahead of him, their soft lights guiding his way through the forest. Benny was filled with a sense of peace and wonder as he followed them deeper into the woods, past tall trees and bubbling streams. It was as if the fireflies were leading him to a magical place, a place he had never seen before. As Benny walked, he noticed how the fireflies seemed to be glowing brighter and brighter, their lights casting a warm, golden hue on everything around him. The trees looked more magical, their leaves shimmering in the firefly glow. The air felt still and calm, and Benny felt a sense of comfort in the quiet of the night. It was as if the forest was holding him in a gentle embrace, and the fireflies were the stars guiding him through a dream. After what felt like a long journey, Benny finally arrived at a small clearing. In the center of the clearing was a small pond, its surface smooth like glass. The fireflies gathered above the pond, their tiny lights reflecting off the water, creating a beautiful glowing pattern. Benny sat down at the edge of the pond, mesmerized by the sight. The fireflies danced around him, their glow weaving a pattern in the night air. And Benny felt as though he had entered a dream, a peaceful, magical world of light and wonder. For a moment, Benny closed his eyes and listened to the gentle sounds of the forest, the rustling of the leaves, the soft croak of a frog in the distance, and the quiet hum of the fireflies. It was as if the forest had fallen into a deep, peaceful slumber, and Benny felt as though he was part of it all, part of the calm and magic that surrounded him. The fireflies continued their dance, and Benny smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace wash over him. He knew it was time to sleep. He lay down on the soft grass beside the pond, his eyes closing as the gentle light of the fireflies surrounded him. The warmth of their glow comforted him, and the peaceful sounds of the forest lulled him into a deep, restful sleep. As he slept, the fireflies continued to dance around him, their gentle glow keeping watch over him throughout the night. Benny dreamed of soft, moonlit paths and beautiful glowing lights, and when the morning sun finally rose, he awoke feeling refreshed and happy. The fireflies were gone, but their magic still lingered in the air, like a soft, glowing memory. Benny smiled to himself, knowing that whenever he needed peace and comfort, he could always return to the fireflies of midnight, who would guide him through the forest, leading him to a world of dreams and wonder. In a peaceful forest, where the trees whispered softly and the stars twinkled brightly in the night sky, there was a little bear named Luna. Luna loved the quiet woods. She loved how the trees swayed gently in the wind, and how the streams flowed quietly through the forest floor. But most of all, Luna loved the feeling of peace that came with the night. Every evening, as the sun began to set and the sky turned dark, Luna would settle into her favorite spot beneath a large oak tree. She would curl up in the soft grass, listening to the wind rustle through the leaves. The world around her would slowly quiet down, and the moon would rise high above, casting a gentle glow on everything below. It was always the perfect time for Luna to fall asleep. But tonight was different. Luna felt a strange sense of excitement in the air, as if something magical was about to happen. She snuggled deeper into the grass and looked up at the sky. The moon was shining brighter than usual, and the stars seemed to twinkle more than ever. Just as Luna was about to close her eyes and drift off to sleep, she noticed something moving in the distance. A soft, glowing light appeared through the trees, and it seemed to be coming closer. Luna's curiosity got the better of her, and she stood up to see what it was. The light grew brighter and brighter until Luna could see that it was not just one light, but many, dancing together in the night. The lights were fireflies, but they weren't just any fireflies. They glowed with a soft golden light, and they moved in a slow, graceful pattern, like they were performing a dance just for Luna. She watched in awe as the fireflies hovered around her, their lights casting a warm, gentle glow on everything they touched. Suddenly, One of the fireflies flew down and landed gently in front of Luna. It was much bigger than the others, and its glow seemed to shine even brighter. The firefly looked at Luna with its tiny, glowing eyes and then slowly flew up into the air. It hovered just above her, beckoning her to follow. Luna, filled with wonder, decided to follow the firefly. She padded softly through the quiet woods, her paws making no sound on the soft earth. The fireflies led her deeper into the forest, guiding her with their gentle glow. As she walked, she noticed that the forest around her seemed to change. The trees grew taller, their branches reaching up to touch the stars. The air felt cooler, and the wind whispered softer, almost as if the forest was telling her a secret. Eventually, the fireflies led Luna to a small, hidden clearing in the forest. In the center of the clearing, there was a soft, shimmering blanket made of twinkling stars. It was the most beautiful thing Luna had ever seen. The stars shimmered like diamonds, casting a gentle, peaceful light on the ground. The fireflies circled around the blanket, their glow blending with the stars, creating a magical, dreamlike atmosphere. The firefly that had led Luna to the clearing fluttered down and landed on the edge of the blanket. It gently touched the shimmering stars with its tiny wings, and as it did, the stars seemed to come alive, swirling around and forming a soft, glowing blanket. Luna couldn't believe her eyes. The firefly looked at Luna and gently nudged the blanket, inviting her to lie down. Luna hesitated for a moment, then with a soft yawn, she climbed onto the blanket. As soon as she lay down, she felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her. The blanket of stars seemed to wrap around her, creating a cocoon of warmth and comfort. The fireflies danced above her, their soft glow adding to the peaceful atmosphere. Luna closed her eyes and let the quiet of the forest lull her into a deep sleep. The soft, shimmering blanket surrounded her like a gentle hug, and the fireflies continued to dance around her, keeping watch over her throughout the night. She dreamed of soft, peaceful places, meadows full of flowers, streams flowing gently under moonlit skies, and towering trees with leaves that whispered lullabies. When Luna awoke the next morning, the stars were gone, and the fireflies had disappeared, but the memory of the magical dream blanket stayed with her. She felt refreshed and at peace, knowing that whenever she needed comfort and rest, the quiet woods and its magical dream blanket would always be there, waiting for her. With a smile, Luna stood up, stretched, and made her way back through the forest. The gentle whisper of the trees and the soft rustling of the leaves reminded her that she was never truly alone in the peaceful woods. The forest would always be there, guiding her to sweet dreams and peaceful slumbers whenever she needed them. Once upon a time, deep in a peaceful forest, there lived a little bear named Oliver. Oliver loved the night, especially when the sky was clear and full of twinkling stars. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars appeared, Oliver would prepare for his nightly journey. His favorite time of day was when he could wander along his special trail under the starry sky. Tonight was no different. The soft breeze whispered through the trees, and the air was cool and fresh. The forest seemed to be alive with the gentle sounds of rustling leaves and distant owl calls. But what made this night even more special was the way the stars seemed to shine brighter than usual. They twinkled like diamonds scattered across the velvet sky, casting a soft, magical glow on everything below. Oliver stood at the entrance of the little path that led through the woods. The trail, known as the Sleepytime Trail, was his favorite. It wound through the forest, passing tall trees, quiet streams, and soft patches of grass where the moonlight would shine down like silver dust. The trail was lined with glowing fireflies that danced in the air, their tiny lights flickering like stars on earth. Tonight, Oliver felt a little sleepier than usual. He yawned and stretched, his furry paws reaching up to the sky. He was ready for his peaceful walk, ready to follow the starlit trail all the way to his favorite resting spot, the cozy hollow, a small nook in the woods where he always felt safe and warm. With a soft hum, Oliver began his journey along the Sleepytime Trail. As he walked, he admired the beauty around him. The stars above seemed to guide his steps, twinkling brighter with each passing moment. The fireflies, as if knowing Oliver needed their help, fluttered around him, lighting the path ahead. It was as if the entire forest was glowing, welcoming him on his nightly adventure. As Oliver continued down the trail, he passed the tall oak tree that marked the halfway point. It stood proudly with its branches reaching up towards the sky, casting long shadows on the ground. Oliver paused for a moment to look at the tree, feeling grateful for the many peaceful nights he had spent walking this path. The next part of the trail took Oliver past a quiet stream that gently babbled as it flowed over the rocks. The sound of the water was soothing, like a lullaby. Oliver bent down to dip his paw in the cool stream, feeling the refreshing water run over his fur. He smiled to himself, knowing that this was the perfect time for a peaceful walk, when the world was calm, and everything felt just right. After a little while, Oliver reached the end of the trail. There, nestled between two large rocks, was the cozy hollow. It was a small, soft patch of moss that was always just the right temperature, like a warm, fuzzy blanket. The stars above seemed to shine down especially bright here, wrapping Oliver in their soft, comforting light. Oliver lay down on the moss, curling up into a little ball. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, listening to the gentle sounds of the forest around him. The wind whispered through the trees, the fireflies continued to dance around him, and the stream's quiet babble seemed to lull him into a deep sense of peace. As he drifted off to sleep, Oliver smiled, knowing that the sleepy time trail would always be there for him. Every night, under the twinkling stars, he could take his peaceful walk through the forest, knowing that the cozy hollow would be waiting for him when he needed it most. With the stars above, the fireflies by his side, and the soft sounds of the night around him, Oliver knew he was safe, loved, and ready for the sweetest of dreams. And so, as the forest whispered its lullaby, the little bear slept soundly under the starlit sky, dreaming of peaceful adventures and the warmth of his cozy hollow. Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush, peaceful forest, there lived a gentle bear named Theo. Theo loved to sleep, but there was something truly magical about the dreams he had each night. Every time he closed his eyes, he found himself in a place more beautiful than any other, his very own secret garden. This garden wasn't like the ones you'd find in the waking world. It was a magical place, hidden deep within Theo's dreams, a place where the colors were more vibrant, the flowers smelled sweeter, and the trees whispered secrets only the dreamers could hear. Each night, as the stars twinkled high above, and the forest around him fell into a deep, peaceful slumber, Theo would close his eyes and drift away to his secret garden. The moment he entered, he felt a wave of calm wash over him, like being wrapped in the softest, most comforting blanket. In his secret garden, everything was perfect. The sky above him was always painted with soft shades of purple and pink, and the air smelled of wildflowers and fresh rain. The ground was covered with a thick carpet of soft grass, perfect for lying down and staring up at the clouds. The trees in the garden were ancient and wise, with thick trunks and branches that stretched high into the sky. Their leaves shimmered in the moonlight, and the air was always filled with the gentle rustling of their branches. Theo loved to explore his garden, each night finding new paths and hidden nooks he had never noticed before. Tonight, as he entered the garden, something felt different. The flowers were glowing a soft, golden hue, and the air seemed even more fragrant than usual. It was as if the garden was welcoming him, inviting him to discover a new secret. He followed the soft path of golden petals, his paws barely making a sound on the soft earth. As he wandered deeper into the garden, Theo noticed a gentle breeze beginning to blow, carrying with it the sweet scent of jasmine and lavender. The breeze seemed to lead him toward a special spot he had never seen before. He felt curious and excited. What could be waiting for him there? Following the breeze, Theo soon found himself standing in front of a small hidden pond. The water was so still, it reflected the stars above like a mirror. In the center of the pond was a single large lily pad, and upon it sat the most beautiful flower Theo had ever seen. It was a delicate white lotus, its petals glistening in the soft light of the moon. Theo felt drawn to it, as if the flower was calling to him. He sat down by the pond, staring at the flower, mesmerized by its beauty. As he gazed at the lotus, something incredible happened. The flower began to glow even brighter, and a soft, calming voice filled the air. "Welcome, dear Theo," the voice whispered. "You've found the heart of the garden, the place where all dreams begin." Theo felt a wave of warmth and peace spread through him as the voice continued. "This garden exists because of you, and it will always be here whenever you need it." Theo smiled, his heart swelling with happiness. He knew that this garden was more than just a dream. It was a safe haven, a place where he could always find peace and comfort, no matter what. He felt grateful for the garden and all the beautiful dreams it had given him. As the night grew quieter, Theo lay down by the pond, resting his head on the soft grass. He closed his eyes, listening to the gentle sound of the breeze, the rustling leaves, and the soft whispers of the garden around him. He felt completely at ease, knowing that this secret garden was his to visit whenever he needed to escape, to rest, or to dream. And so, as the stars twinkled above and the gentle breeze carried him off into a peaceful slumber, Theo drifted off to sleep, his dreams filled with the beauty and magic of his secret garden. In that garden, all was peaceful, all was calm, and all was right. And Theo knew that, no matter what happened in the waking world, the secret garden of his dreams would always be there, waiting for him when he needed it most. In the heart of a quiet, sleepy forest lived a gentle bear named Oliver. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest would become bathed in soft golden light. The trees would begin to sway gently, their leaves rustling in the cool breeze. The sky would turn a deep shade of purple, and the stars would twinkle softly above. Oliver loved the nighttime. He would wander through the forest, taking in the sweet scent of the trees and flowers, and listen to the peaceful sounds of the evening. But there was something special about the night that he looked forward to most. As the night deepened, he would hear the soft whispers of the forest. It was as if the forest itself was speaking to him, sharing secrets only the night could hold. One evening, as Oliver settled into his cozy den, the whispers began. At first, it was a gentle rustling in the leaves like a soft melody. Oliver closed his eyes and listened carefully. The whispers seemed to call to him, inviting him to follow. Curiosity filled his heart, and he decided to follow the whispers. With soft steps, he wandered deeper into the forest, the ground beneath him cool and soft. The stars above twinkled brighter than usual, as if guiding his way. The whispers seemed to grow louder, more inviting. As he walked, Oliver could hear the faint sounds of a lullaby carried by the wind, wrapping around him like a warm blanket. The further Oliver went, the more he felt the magic of the night wrap around him. The trees seemed to sway in rhythm with the whispers, and the moon above shone brighter, casting a soft, silver light on everything. The forest was alive with a quiet energy, a peacefulness that only the night could bring. Soon, Oliver came to a small clearing, and in the center stood an ancient oak tree. Its branches stretched wide, reaching toward the sky. The whispers were coming from the tree, a soft, melodic hum that seemed to soothe his heart. He stepped closer, feeling the warmth of the tree's presence. The whispers grew clearer, like the sound of a lullaby. "Rest, gentle bear," the tree seemed to whisper. "The night is here to comfort you." Oliver felt a deep sense of peace wash over him. He laid down on the soft grass beneath the oak tree, feeling the cool earth beneath him. The tree's whispers surrounded him, and he closed his eyes, letting the soft lullaby lull him into a peaceful sleep. The forest continued to hum with the quiet sounds of the night, the leaves rustling like a gentle song. As he slept, Oliver dreamed of beautiful meadows, sparkling rivers, and golden skies. The whispers of the night carried him through wonderful dreams, filled with warmth and love. He dreamed of running through fields of flowers, the soft breeze brushing against his fur. He could hear the whispers guiding him, telling him he was safe, and that the night would always be there to protect him. When morning came, the whispers slowly faded, and Oliver awoke in his den. The sun was rising, casting soft beams of light into the forest. He stretched and yawned, feeling rested and content. The peacefulness of the night lingered in his heart, and he knew that whenever he needed comfort, he could always find it in the whispers of the forest. From that night on, whenever the stars twinkled above, and the moon cast its soft glow over the forest, Oliver would listen closely. The whispers of the night were always there, a gentle reminder that he was never truly alone in the peaceful world of dreams. And so, the gentle bear lived happily, with the knowledge that the night would always offer him its soft whispers, guiding him into peaceful slumbers filled with dreams of warmth, comfort, and the magic of the forest. One quiet evening in the deep, tranquil forest, a young bear named Finn sat on a soft patch of grass, gazing up at the starry sky. The night was still, and the stars twinkled like little diamonds scattered across a velvet blanket. Finn loved the night, for it was during these peaceful hours that he felt most connected to the world around him. As he stared into the sky, something amazing happened. A bright shooting star streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of silver light in its wake. It was the most beautiful thing Finn had ever seen. The stars sparkled as it fell, dancing through the dark sky, and then vanished beyond the treetops. Finn's heart filled with wonder. He had heard stories from the wise old owl that shooting stars were special, bringing magic and dreams to those who followed them. Without thinking, Finn jumped to his paws. He had to follow it. He had to see where it went. It was a night of adventure, and Finn wasn't about to let the chance slip away. The young bear padded quietly through the forest, his paws making soft thuds against the earth as he moved. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting shadows that danced along with the gentle wind. Finn kept his eyes on the sky, watching for another shooting star. As he walked deeper into the forest, the trees grew thicker, and the sounds of the night became more distant. But Finn was determined. The shooting star had led him this far, and he wasn't about to stop now. His heart raced with excitement as he imagined the wonders that might await him at the end of his journey. The path grew steeper, and the forest seemed to grow more magical the further Finn went. The wind whispered through the leaves, carrying the soft scent of pine and wildflowers. Finn paused for a moment to listen. The forest was alive with quiet sounds, the rustling of leaves, the soft hoot of an owl in the distance, and the gentle flow of a nearby stream. It was as if the forest itself was guiding him. Suddenly, he spotted another shooting star. This one brighter and even more beautiful than the first. It streaked across the sky, this time falling just beyond a hill. Finn's excitement grew, and he rushed toward the hill, his fur fluttering in the breeze. As he reached the top, he saw something magical. The land before him opened up into a serene meadow, bathed in the soft glow of the moon. In the center of the meadow, a small, sparkling pond reflected the light of the stars. The water shimmered, and the trees around the pond were decorated with tiny glowing fireflies. It was as if the meadow itself had come alive, glowing with the magic of the night. Finn stood there for a moment, stunned by the beauty of it all. It was a peaceful, quiet place, just the kind of place where dreams were made. As Finn approached the pond, he noticed something else. A single, bright star resting gently on the surface of the water. It was the shooting star he had been following, now floating peacefully on the water, its light soft and calming. Finn felt a warmth in his heart as he gazed at the star, knowing that he had found something truly special. He sat down beside the pond, watching the star's light shimmer in the water. The night was so quiet now, with only the soft sounds of the forest around him. The shooting star seemed to glow even brighter, as if it was telling Finn that it was time for him to rest. He lay down on the soft grass beside the pond, closing his eyes. The night air was cool and peaceful, and the light of the shooting star seemed to wrap around him like a cozy blanket. Finn drifted off to sleep, feeling safe and content. As he slept, he dreamed of magical forests and glowing stars, of peaceful nights filled with wonder. He knew that whenever he wished, he could follow a shooting star again and find his way to this beautiful, magical place. When the morning sun rose, Finn awoke to the gentle light of dawn filtering through the trees. The star was gone, but the memory of its glow remained in his heart. He had followed the shooting star, and in doing so, had found a place of peace and magic, a place he would always carry with him. Finn made his way back home, knowing that the forest would always hold its secrets, waiting for him to discover them. He smiled to himself, knowing that no matter where his adventures took him, he would always have the shooting star to guide him, lighting the way to dreams and wonder. Once upon a quiet, starry night, in a lush, peaceful forest, there was a little bear named Cubby. Cubby was young and full of energy during the day, running and playing with his friends. But when night came, he felt the warm, comforting pull of sleep. His little eyes grew heavy, and he would often yawn, longing for a soft, peaceful place to rest. One evening, as the sun set behind the towering trees, Cubby's mother called to him. "Come, little cub, it's time to rest." Cubby looked up at the sky, where the first stars were beginning to twinkle. He loved watching the stars come out, their sparkling light filling the dark sky with magic. But tonight, something was different. Instead of going straight to his cozy den, Cubby noticed a soft velvet path stretching out before him, glowing faintly in the moonlight. The path seemed to beckon him, calling him to follow it. His curiosity piqued. Cubby padded closer and sniffed the air. It smelled sweet, like the flowers that bloomed only at night. I wonder where this path leads, Cubby thought, his sleepy eyes growing wide with excitement. With a small yawn, he decided to follow the velvet dream path. The path was soft under his paws, almost like walking on the softest cloud. As Cubby trotted along, the night sounds of the forest became gentle and soothing. The rustling of the leaves in the wind, the distant chirping of crickets, and the soft hoot of an owl high up in the trees. Everything seemed calm, peaceful and quiet, just as the stars above twinkled softly. The path led him deeper into the forest, and soon he came across a beautiful meadow. The grass was dotted with tiny glowing fireflies, their light like tiny stars in the grass. Cubby's eyes sparkled as he walked through the meadow, feeling the soft breeze brushing against his fur. The air felt warm, and the atmosphere around him was magical. He continued to follow the velvet path, which now seemed to twist and turn in mysterious ways. The more he walked, the sleepier he became. His little paws felt tired, but the soft glow of the path made him feel safe and relaxed. He knew that wherever this path took him, it would be a place of peaceful rest. Finally, after what seemed like a long journey, the velvet path opened up into a secret grove. It was a place Cubby had never seen before, but it felt familiar, as though he had been there in his dreams. The trees in the grove were tall and graceful, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. The ground was covered in soft moss, perfect for lying down. In the center of the grove was a small, sparkling pond, its surface smooth like glass. The water reflected the stars above, and the moon's light made everything look even more magical. Cubby felt his eyes growing heavier as he approached the pond. He sniffed the air, and the scent of flowers and fresh earth made him feel even more relaxed. As Cubby lay down by the pond, he closed his eyes, his body sinking into the soft moss beneath him. The velvet path had led him to this peaceful place, a place of dreams and serenity. He could hear the gentle rustling of the leaves, like a lullaby sung by the forest itself. The sound was so calming, and soon Cubby was fast asleep. In his dreams, he wandered through the forest, walking along the velvet path, surrounded by stars and gentle winds. The path took him to many magical places, each one more peaceful and beautiful than the last. And as he slept, he knew that the velvet dream path would always be there, guiding him to the sweetest dreams and the most peaceful places. The next morning, when Cubby woke up, the velvet path had vanished, leaving behind only the soft, peaceful feeling it had brought him. He stretched and yawned, feeling rested and happy. He knew that whenever he wanted to find the velvet dream path again, all he had to do was close his eyes and follow the quiet call of the stars. Cubby smiled, knowing that he would always have a special place in the forest, a place where dreams were made, and where the velvet path would take him to sleep in peace.